Hi guys, I'm Cassandra and I'm here to help you heal what's holding you back. In this video, we're going to talk about what to do when you're afraid to make the wrong choice. I've been through this so many times, and I'm going to share with you tips that I've learned throughout my journey of making a lot of different choices. Some may be good choices and some may be not so good choices. So if you are afraid you're not going to get the outcome you want on the other side of that decision, if you are afraid because there is some risk involved, or you are afraid because that decision would put you outside of your comfort zone, this video is for you. So let's get right into it. The first thing is the fear that you're going to have an outcome that you don't want. This happened to me many times in my life where I would take a step toward my passion and it was something new. So I would put myself out there and I would be afraid to put myself out there because what if people don't like me? What if I put out this video, nobody watches it? What if I say I'm going to do readings at this crystal shop and nobody shows up, right? I would be afraid that I wasn't going to get the outcome I wanted. Or what if I take this job and it doesn't lead me to the things that I want? This fear of not getting the outcome you want is deeply rooted in a lack of trust of yourself. When you trust yourself, you can handle whatever is going to happen in the future. If I had trusted myself, I would be able to easily put myself out there and do readings at that crystal shop and do readings at that bead shop and trust that whatever challenges came up, I would be able to handle them. So if this is a struggle for you, you can also watch my videos on how to be more confident. So the second situation you might experience is there is some risk involved with the choice that you're making. So maybe you have to make a financial investment or a time investment, or maybe you would have to quit your job to move on to a next job. There is some kind of risk involved in making this decision and making this change. So the thing that I have learned in my experiences of taking crazy, insane risks, I moved to South Korea and taught English there for 3 years. I went all in on my business before it was fully supporting me, and these risks in some ways paid off, and in some ways they didn't always give me the outcome I wanted, or if I could go back and do it again, maybe I would have done it a little bit differently. But here is my advice. 1, assess the risk. Assess the actual risk versus the perceived risk. Okay, so in moving to South Korea, there were some actual risks of, being isolated from people or not having a support network or whatever, and just the risks associated with traveling. But in moving to a new job, for example, starting a business and quitting your job, for example, in most cases, you could probably, even if that business didn't work out, you could probably go back to that line of work you were in. In most cases, you could go get another job in that same field. So the true risk here, is that really a risk? I mean, of course there's financial stuff, but oftentimes what holds us back is that fear that we're not going to be successful. And so in that situation, you haven't lost anything. Even if I'm deciding, like, I'm afraid to make the wrong choice and I want to go talk to a guy and flirt with him, but I'm not sure. What's the risk? The actual risk is just that I look stupid for a minute. Who cares? Like, that's not a true risk. Like, I'm not going to actually be hurt in any way other than my ego. So in that case, I can assess that risk and move forward. And the same with putting out videos. It's a perceived risk of failure. However, if I shift the way that I perceive failure, it's no longer a risk that I perceive. And another little tip here is to fail cheaply. And this is important because I actually made a mistake here with risk taking where I signed up for I think it was like a $1,500 course when I really didn't have the money because I believed it would help me make the money to be able to pay for that course. And I never made the money. I only paid for half of it and I got 0 of the course because they wouldn't let me, have half of it or get a refund. And so this may or may not happen to you. I don't know your situation, but what I was doing wrong here, the mistake I made, was I treated that decision like it was the lottery. I would treat every decision in my business, I would treat every decision in moving forward like it was the lottery. Like I had to do this thing and spend all this money so that I could have this insane result. Instead of doing what I could have done, which was do the work. And so you really have to look at what's the risk involved. Is it a true risk? And are you in a position where if you failed in that way, would you be okay? So if I had an extra $10,000 in the bank when I bought that course, then maybe the risk wouldn't be so high. But at that time, because I was putting myself on the line, that didn't support me. Sometimes it does support people to put their ass on the line in that way because it holds them to that commitment. However, you have to be in the right state of mind in order for that to work for you. And so the third thing here is maybe the choice you want to make is outside of your comfort zone. Maybe it's uncomfortable. So how do you know it's just a comfort level thing? Is you can think about, is there anything else you need to do to be ready for this change? So let's say I want to do public speaking and I've written a script and I have it all set up and I know the topic I want to speak on and I don't have a place to speak and I don't have an audience. In this case, there's nothing else I could do to get ready for this. There's nothing else I can do to prepare other than practice. Maybe in this case I could get a small group of friends who want to hear about that topic and present to them first. But other than that, I've really done everything I can do just short of doing that actual thing. So if I stop and I don't move forward because of it, then it's simply just me not being willing to go outside of my comfort zone. And as you guys may know, going outside of your comfort zone is scary, but it can be really exciting. And it's up to you whether you interpret the experience of being outside of your comfort zone as scary or exciting. So that's a choice you get to make in your perspective of life and your perspective of the world. I used to think it was scary to go out of my comfort zone, and now I think that it's wonderful and it's perfect and it's a sign that I'm growing. And I've changed my relationship with comfort to where instead of seeing it as if I'm uncomfortable, something's wrong and I need to change, I see it as if I'm uncomfortable, that's a good thing because that means I'm growing and I'm pushing myself. And also another thing about going out of your comfort zone that has supported me is I let the boldness of my actions match the level of support I have. And that can be the level of support I have around me in that specific area. It can also be the level of support I've created within myself. So when I was new at this, when I had more fear going on, I would do baby steps outside of my comfort zone. Because if I went so far outside of my comfort zone with no support to remind me that I was making good choices and to remind me that it's okay to fail and that failure isn't always really just not accomplishing something, failure is not trying. If I didn't have that support in my own self, it would have been much more difficult for me to be able to go out and do something crazy. And so I let that level of support match the boldness of my actions. If I have an accountability buddy and we both are uncomfortable at a certain thing and we want to challenge each other and we're going to check in with each other, that is a lot different than me from no experience, no positive changes, and no momentum going, I'm going to change this thing. And so that is another thing I have to share about that. So let me know how this video helped you guys. And my question for you today is, what choice are you afraid to make right now? Drop it in the comments below. I love hearing from you. And like this video if you liked it. Subscribe and hit the bell if you want more videos like this on how to make positive changes, how to claim and go after what you want, and live the life of your dreams. And if you want to work with me, I do one-on-one intuitive readings. I can help you assess the likelihood of where each choice is going to take you, what potential future it could lead you to, and how to make the choice that is going to get you the outcome you want, how to really step up in the face of those decisions and come from a place of authentic trust in yourself rather than fear. So if you want to work with me, click the link below to book a session, and I will see you in the next video.